Hey y'all, and welcome to another episode of And Then We Win. Um, it's me holding down the fort for the last episode of season one. Um, this has been quite the journey. As you know, I started this podcast with the idea of just really me being tired of answering the question, what is sports social work? And so I wanted to really give you a glimpse into the world of sports social work by having people from all over the space of social work, well, sports social work at that, or just sports in general who care about mental health and who are advocates in this space. And so it's truly been an honor to really make this thing come to life. I definitely want to give a big shout out to my sister, Ashley Singleton, who's also a guest on this show. She was the one that kind of really pushed me to definitely make this happen outside of the question. And she laid the foundation. She was like, Justin, you got to get your face out there because she knew what I was trying to do. So big up to my sister, to Singleton. Hopefully, got a chance to take a look at her show because she's a public health professional and she talks about um, isolation and her journey of being, dealing with um, anxiety a little bit. Well, not sports anxiety, but like just, trying to be always the best and balancing that out. And so thank you, Ashley, my sister, for being the motivation for this. Um, I have so many people to thank for making this happen. And it was easy because what happened was I'm a member of the Alliance of Social Workers in Sports. Well, this is my second time around. The first time around, I didn't realize it was a fairly new organization. This was way back when I was in right after grad school, and I joined the organization. I was like, oh, there's not a lot of motion going on. Little did I know that now that I actually had opportunity to talk to Dr. Matt Moore and some other colleagues, it was like, yeah, it was really just kind of forming then. But in this space of Alliance of Social Workers in Sports right now, I literally sent out one email through the thread, and then I had like my first 7 to 8 guests lined up from there. And then after that, it was like, hey, I know somebody else that might be interested. You should get them on board. And so more people started getting emailing me and getting on board with the show. And so I just want to thank everybody for being so supportive in this community. I've been a social worker for, over lately, wow, it's been 14 years now. It's not a whole lot for some people because they've been in the game for 20 plus years at my age, but I'm a late bloomer. Always have and always will be. But but I'm moving and I'm moving in the right direction. But I will say that out of all the communities or subsections in social work within itself, sports social work community has been by far the most supportive. Um, they don't see themselves like, oh, like, yeah, I'm one of the people that, founded ASWIS, or yeah, me and such, we worked on projects together. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're a big deal. And but they're very humble, very supportive, and they've always been quick to say, hey, if you need a helping hand, feel free to reach out. And so I'm so grateful for this community. One of the first sports social workers that I met was a Dr. Jasmine Cohen Young she's based out of in the Georgia area with Minds Matter. Please make sure you give them a shout out and check out the work that they do. But we happened to speak together on the panel, and I send a sidebar comment on a Zoom. And he's like, "Hey, sure." And so we set up a call, and like that's been like I call him my cousin because I already met her dad, And her dad was like, yo, whenever at the I met her dad at the symposium last year, big guy. And he was like, hey, when we have a family gathering, I'm still waiting on my invite to go fishing too, but I'll holler at him about that later. But she really, we have in-depth conversation about the work itself and always bouncing ideas off each other. And that's one thing I say about this community too, is that we love to nerd out about this work. Dr. Barb Anthony was a good colleague and friend of mine. Um, she's like, hey, you need information? Here's a folder, bam. Here's all the information you need. Or you got this idea, that sounds good, but have you thought about this? And so it's always good to have a thought partner from another state, somebody you just met the first time and like free willingly to give out information to make sure that they see that you thrive. And even though sports social work is definitely new, well, not as newer in a sense, but definitely I could say in the state of Tennessee, I don't know of many sports social workers that are out there. I do know of one that is in town, and hopefully we will actually grow the field a little bit more officially, unofficially. I would like to announce that I will be signing to be a tenured professor at Middle Tennessee State University. And as soon as I put my name on the paperwork, everything is already taken care of. Like I've shaken the hand of Sinatra, as they say. And so we're pretty much good to go, finish through the whole entire. And I will be doing some work in the sports social work field with them. I will be have the opportunity to I'll be developing and creating a sports social work lab. Already got a cool little acronym for it. I'm kind of happy about that. Hopefully to release that soon. But even Middle Tennessee State University will be offering a sports certificate program. I'm at the school, so I'm very excited about that, being able to help lead in that space. And even with doing that work, I got some colleagues. I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. What are your thoughts? Are they've been very instrumental helping out. Even have some idea for some projects to coming along pretty soon. But that is, I mean, that's the community, and that's what I love about sports social work so far. Like all social workers, they're very supportive and willing to help out. But it's just something about this community that makes me really happy. I know that I'm one phone call or one text away, and so I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy that this is led an opportunity for me able to teach sports social work at the university, um, and even create partnerships with locally in different states and internationally soon. And I can't wait to talk about that. I'll be able to talk about that during the next season when we start back up in the fall. And so I'm just very excited about that. Um, my skill sets in sports social work has also allowed me opportunity to meet some people here locally, um, to create some content that'll be helpful and part of well, it'll be helpful to coaches throughout the state as we're educating them about mental health, and I'll be in charge of overseeing the mental health literacy piece and educating them about them. And so, just a lot of things that are coming along the horizon, and I have my community to thanks to give thanks for that. And so, yeah, this I should be talking about the show a little bit more. I don't have any notes or anything like that written down. I'm really just coming from the heart because it is the last episode for the season, and so hopefully you'll take some time to if you're a newbie and you're catching us at the end, hopefully take some time to listen to some of the old um, uh, interviews that we have had. Fortunately, when I talk to some other my colleagues, they're like, "You were able to get whom, or you able to get what? Like that person on the show?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so even though they won't tell it, but there's some some power players that we have interviewed. But the thing is that they really came to the show wanting to be part of the show. I have some colleagues on here that, I mean, you got a retired NFL player. Now he's a coach. We have had a world renowned boxer, who was Danny O'Connor, who was I'm sorry, let me say that thing. Coach Will Hoyt, who was on the episode, on one of our episodes, and he really talked more about, you know, taking care of your players and how you need to show up as a coach and things of that nature. And how you talked about how love is important when developing a relationship with your players and letting them know that you're being authentic. And so that meant a lot. And O'Connor, who talked about, uh, eating disorders, especially amongst males, especially for those and weights dependent sports, because he was a boxer. I mean, he was on the Olympic national team as a sub, as an alternate, and so and he was up for a title fight too. And so hopefully you go back and listen to his story as he talks about something that impacted millions of men, but definitely millions of men are being quiet about it, how he's developing a community around that. So many people we talked to. Let me see. I got my list here, and so I'm going to email them myself individually, thank them for this. But Coach Perry, Jessica Joyner, Kelly, Danny O'Connor, Gavin Jones, James Jenkins. I really like his episode because um I love all my guests on episode. First of all, I take something and learn something from everybody. But my frat brother, my good friend, James Jenkins, you know, the joke was like 6 foot 90, typical. He looks like an offensive lineman for the NFL. He played pro and in college, and he looked like an offensive lineman. And so we're talking about, that having the identity and always being asked, hey, were you, did you play ball? He was like, no, I didn't. You make up something, but we talked about how, we're dealing with identity and being able to transition, after whatever level of you finish playing the sport. And so having him to talk about that, I definitely want to give out a shout out to Dr. Diaz, Cindy, and Dr. Puma, who were part of our episode that when we talked about careers in sports social work and how to get involved and definitely take those first steps. And um, I'm gonna see if I can get an episode shared within my class. I gotta talk to my chair about that. But we'll see about it. And so, my good buddy and friend Marcel Hernandez, we talk about how he used sports in supporting and helping youth and low SES areas be able to thrive and find stuff for themselves and build character, which sports should do. Because sports should be fun, it should be character building, it should be all the things that we love and grow. But sometimes the sports on certain levels becomes a business, and when business is good, you'll do everything to keep the business running. But we talked about how important development. Now, I'm not going to keep track. Well, I did keep track because I had to look at my streams. And uh, Coach Dre Davis out of Pearl Cone High School had one of the highest streamed episodes that I had. And one thing I've always loved about Pearl Cone, and because I used to coach soccer there, I was a school social worker there. And I've always tried to be active and be supportive of the school whenever I can. Even when I did gosh, it was years ago when I had a radio show and a show here in Nashville. I had about two students. Well, we had one student come through, but that lets you know how important that community is and how they always get back and reach back. And so they sent that podcast out and had everybody from as any simply closely related to Pearl Cone actually tuned in and checked out the episode. Um, that just shows you how much that community is important and how important it is to create lessons for those who are, actively engaged in sports now, and making sure that they can translate or make that transition into when they get to the real world, um, they have the tools that's needed to be able to succeed. And so, shout out to Pearl Cone, Coach Davis. Y'all always doing great things, and thank you all for being so supportive of the podcast. Um, Dr. Elman, future Dr. Robinson, Tilly Robinson out of Georgia State. Shout out to you and your crew, and hopefully, um, your first year was a very successful year. So keep doing your thing, and let me know if you need help with anything. Or Collins, Christine and Roz, love you all to death, and thank you all for being so supportive and sharing the show. Barb Anthony, my homie, thank you. Appreciate you a whole lot for being so supportive. And I gave a shout out to my sister, but I got to give another shout out again, Ashley Singleton. She's down there in Atlanta, Georgia. I love my sister to death, and so I can't stop singing and give her praises. And so if I'm ever doing something good or if something's ever elevated, it probably came from a conversation for me and Ashley. And so if you get a chance, I'm not trying to be biased or anything like that, but check out our show, her episode, as we talked about in the public health field, how we need to collaborate together, which is true because, when things become a public health crisis, um, they do a lot of research and collect a lot of data around the areas that we focus on too. And so hopefully we continue to build upon that gateway, and maybe me and my sister can make some projects happen together um, here soon with some of her orgs. But I think it'd be great that we continue to create that pipeline between our public health professionals. As we know, not only does social work, but unfortunately, public health sector has been under attack too. And so when we're on attack, we should, forge like Voltron and make something very special happen. And so thank you, Ashley, for everything. Um, Dr. Jasmine Cohen Young, she was let me shout out to Dr. Matt Moore for sure. Like it, we did a lot of, we're doing great things together from doing work, but he is such a champion for sports social work. I am grateful for him being able to be, he was my second guest, second or third guest. I have to go back and look and see. But he was in the top three because I know it was him, um, Dr. Jasmine Young, and Coach Perry. Y'all need to go back and check our episode out too. That's our colleague out of Alabama, doing a lot of great work with Coach Perry. And follow her on LinkedIn too. She always gets me motivated. Whenever I'm down, I just go look at her page. I'm like, all right, charge. Let's take on the Lions and the Lions. Then um, Dr. Matt Moore, I can't thank him enough. And hopefully we got a project we'll be working on together. Hopefully here very soon on an international scale. And so we will definitely I'll make an announcement about that later, but I'm looking forward to it. But for somebody to be a president of an organization, and I think at the time that we had our conversation, he was they were just wrapping up tennis season, I think, and so it was kind of challenge to get that happen, but we made it happen. Shout out Dr. Jasmine Cohen. Like I said, that's my sports social work cousin. We did an event back together last summer back in South Carolina, helping out with a colleague of mine, and so she has been she's the homie for sure, and I can't thank her enough to my cousin. Man, we've come a long ways. Honestly, I was nervous about this show first starting off, and like how I said, everybody's like, oh, they were so responsive to like to the message that I had asking or soliciting for guests. And at first, I was like, my original plan for this show was like, hey, I'm probably not gonna have that many guests. I don't know that many people. But maybe we'll do an episode, every other week. And so that's how it started. If I was going to do 2 episodes a month, and then I have no idea what happened, but I got a rush back in like December, January. January, I had some episodes. I recorded 2 in one day, and back to back. And so those were some long days, especially when it came to editing or whatnot. And it got to the point I was like, if I did 2 a month, I would have show episodes up all the way up until 2027, like literally. And so I had enough to actually go, you know, about every week from starting around like February. February, so I was like, okay, we gotta get these episodes out. Like now we're going every week. And so that just says a lot about our community for those who are, either looking to promote their brand, but most importantly, love talking about their gift in the sports social workspace. I mean, it's not like I have like 5,000 streams or anything like that, but for what we do have, and for those who have been committed to listening, oh, shout out to everybody who subscribed. I know I have some friends and colleagues say, hey, they dedicate their time on Thursdays at a certain spot. Thank you, Ahmad. Um, he got messed up the other day because I actually had to take down an episode and make an edit, and then add another one. He was like, "Oh, I thought today was Thursday because the new episode popped up." But so thank you, Ahmad. I gave you a shout out, so you can calm down now. Um, thank you, Ahmad, my frat brother and my brother, not by blood but by love, for being a support to this show. And thank you all for everybody else who subscribed. And thank you for those who shared the episodes with their colleagues. And so we got a decent little following now, and hopefully to expand a little bit more in the future. But thank you all to all the guests. You've made this a very an informative ride here, a joyful ride. Now, this is my first time being in front of the microphone this much since I had that radio show a few years back. And so I mean, I was just like, hey, we'll see what happens. And it happened. And so, and gosh, I hit my head just like 30 seconds ago. Definitely need to give a shout out to Kobe Jones. Matter of fact, she will be graduating next Saturday. And so she came along as a co-host with me for a few of our episodes. And she was in charge of Kobe's Corner 3. And so if you ever get a chance to, if you're not following her on LinkedIn or Instagram, please give her a shout out. I mean, she's graduating. She's been through a lot, of course, in terms of like going to school back to back, and I'm getting you out the way. And so, um, if anybody has any openings in sports social workspace and willing to take Kobe on to give her a job, please feel free to do so. I'm pretty sure she'll appreciate that. She doesn't know I'm saying that, but one thing I do believe is that if anybody's interested in the sports social worker space or anything that I can do to help out, I'll do the best I can possible. One of the jobs I have, or one of the roles that I've always given myself in sports social work space is in social work space is a connector. And so I do believe that we thrive off of relationships. So no matter what type of relationship we had, I always trying to figure out how can we make a connection happen so we are not working in silos, as my sister would often say so much, stop working in silos. We need to be partnering across the bridge. But that is the thing, is that I wanted to bring Kobe along the way with me because I was like, hey, I'm building this thing out. Come on the board and join with me. And let's see what type of relationships that you can develop, and also give yourself a little shine for yourself and show that you're passionate about this work. And so if I'm gonna shout out, or just look out if you see anything coming open, highlight Kobe Jones on LinkedIn. And so I think she would do great in the space. She really loves what sports social work can do and how it can develop the athlete. And she loves sports too, but most importantly, she loves creating a space where people, athletes can thrive. Um, what else do I have to say? Make sure I leave everything out. I don't have a date set for the next season just yet, but it'll come along soon. I'm going to take a break. I got some building I need to do. Um, and building, I mean, getting out there and developing this lab that I plan on developing. I need to finish some these training modules. I got some other happenings that I can't mention about just yet, but if you follow me on Instagram or LinkedIn, you will definitely see it soon. Kind of excited about it. Well, no, I'm really excited about it. Um, and do I that much anything else? Oh, I guess next season for sure. You probably hear a little bit more of my voice. I know we'll have some interviews, but I think we'll have some more casual conversations too with some people have on board. Well, I don't have anybody on board yet, but I know some people are definitely willing to come back and talk, and so we'll have a different flow next time around. It'll be season two or quarter two, if we're looking at it from a sports perspective, and we're gonna play around some different formats too. And so I am excited about it, but whoo, I need to take a break. I'm tired. And so I can't thank you all enough. And definitely if you have any space for me to help out in any support any projects or anything like that, just to all my people who's out there doing the work. If you need to bounce some ideas off somebody, hit me up on Instagram and LinkedIn. You can find me on Just Single Vision as the consulting page. And don't forget to follow the actual episode, the podcast page at Then We Win, because we want to keep that ball rolling to help get those likes up and and put some more out there. So over the summer break, you will probably see some more clips from the episodes being posted at random. And so please feel free to share with your friends and your colleagues and make sure that they, guide them back to the show. I love to continue doing this work and making sure that not only our voices are heard um about social workers in sports, but that we continue to push and um help support each other and get some ideas and get the creative juices flowing. We love to talk, we love to share ideas and always looking for new ways to make sports a better place. And I think that is it. Quick little 30-minute episode, but thank you everybody for always tuning in, supporting me. I will be around. Lord willing, the creek don't rise. And definitely thank you for helping making and then we win what it is today. Um we talk about all things that matter before we talk about the win or even think about winning. We have to have everything happening before we blow the whistle, before we shoot the gun in the air for our track, before we drop the puck. We want to talk about those things that matters, even when you before you drop the racket. I don't know if they do that anymore. Maybe it's in high school. I think it used to be if well, my sister played high school, tennis in high school, and I dabble in a little bit. I'm an athlete. I just dabble in everything. And I think if you drop the racket, if it's a W, somebody, gets first, and if it's an M, the other person wins like our heads and tails. I hope I didn't make that up. I feel like I heard that happen somewhere before, but I hope I didn't make that up. So anyway, whatever it takes to start the game. Um even before we talk about, even when we're training our bodies, I think that's one thing we're definitely looking to do more now in the space is that making sure that developing a culture, um, developing our mind, developing our soul, our heart, like all the things that the inner workings that help us be us who we are. When we take care of those things, then we can be present. And then those are the instrumental pieces for winning, whether it's like actually winning the game or, winning and overcoming obstacles, winning and, saying that you actually made it to the court that day. Because, winning happens in so many different ways. And it doesn't have to happen in the WL column or the WDL column, whatever sport you play. And so, we're going to win. We're going to continue to win. And I definitely look forward to our next season. So thank you. Much love to everybody. Thanks for being an inspiration to me and making this podcast happen. And look forward to seeing you in the fall. So make sure you subscribe. I'll make an announcement well in advance whenever I plan on setting the date for the start date. But Dr. Singleton has some things he has to take care of first, and we'll bring it back. So I don't want to say thank you again, but I can't stop saying thank you because I don't know, I was told to always express your gratitude much as possible. And so thank you all for what you do. And I look forward to seeing you all the next season of And Then We Win. And hey, we won. And so take care, y'all. Much love to you all and keep being who you are. Take care. Bye.